Hello students, I'm Dr. Manisha Buddhiraja, your faculty for ENT, and today we have with us Dr. Jaee, who has secured an amazing rank of rank 6 in the recently held INI-CET May 2024. So congratulations Dr. Jaee, and how is the feel? Has the feeling just sunk in? Were you expecting this?
I was not expecting this, but I think it feels great.
I think it is too modest to say that. You're not expecting that. All of the toppers say the same thing. So, what was your primary source of preparation? Just tell us which college do you belong to first.
I'm from St. John's in Bangalore.
Okay, and was this your first attempt?
No, I've taken a year after my internship to prepare. So this actually would be my third INI-CET, and I was preparing for the coming NEET.
Yes. So, what was your main source of preparation? And when did you actually start preparing? Please walk us through your journey.
So I had studied nothing really right up until internship. I had no preparation of any sort for PG. I hadn't decided where I wanted to do PG. So as soon as my internship was over, I came back home, and that's when I bought Marrow Plan C, which was for a year. So I started in May, and I started just the main videos first. So my first cycle of learning really came from the main videos and the QBank, the Marrow QBank, and then I did revisions with concising my notes from that point on.
So, I think, Dr. Jaee, you are a real inspiration for many of the students who feel that if they have not prepared or started preparing early, they don't hold a chance. So, please tell us that if you just started before internship, you must be a topper in your college.
I did win some awards in certain subjects in my college. So I did have a strong background in the sense that I really did study throughout MBBS because I did enjoy it. I enjoyed studying most of the subjects that we had. And I think that combined with when I prepared for my step 1 in 2020, I think that also gave me a lot of strong concepts, which are important more in NEET than in NEET.
Okay. So then when you started with Marrow, and that was in May, could you watch all the videos, and did you feel that these videos added on to your knowledge what you had already had earlier?
I think that they were my base knowledge. I did not consider that I had any knowledge earlier. And everything that I started from in May, I started from scratch. That was the plan, that to give it a year of complete preparation. And I think the right way to start something like that would be through main videos. So I watched most of the subjects. Some, like medicine, seemed very extensive for me to finish watching. But I did watch majority of the subjects main videos from Marrow, and I feel like the concepts that they offered, even if I didn't take that information forward in my further revisions, I think some things that were said by the faculty in main videos always stuck with me as concepts going forward. It could have been just a simple line that they might have said, but I think it's important to form those initial concepts before you start revising what is more forgettable.
So you watched all the videos. So can you please tell us who were your favorite faculties?
I I think I think my personal favorite course of the subject as a whole was pathology, and I feel it was pathology because it saved me in a lot of questions. I hadn't done medicine properly. I don't think I've ever watched a full set from any platform. I've never been able to finish medicine as a course, but I think that pathology was so complete, and maybe because it's one of my favorite subjects as well. So I really enjoyed it. It was amazing. And I feel like it crawled its way into every other subject's questions. So it was, I think there's a lot to gain from doing pathology well and doing it from a main source.
Great, great. And Dr. Ela is anyway a sweetheart, always. Yes. Okay. So, like, if you were preparing only from May, you had just a year with you. Tell us what your day looked like, because it requires a lot of discipline to completely finish all the videos, to do all the MCQs. So how did you go about it? Tell us, how did your day look like?
I think that it sort of changed. So initially, it was more important for me to gain concepts. So majority of my day consisted of watching the videos, making notes, and just trying to absorb as much information as I can. Because I think the highest rise in my Marrow GT. So the first GT I gave on Marrow, I got 10,000. My rank was 10,000. And
Okay.
the next GT that I gave was after I had finished majority of the main videos. And in my next GT, it was 699. So I think that the highest jump was just made by acquiring those concepts. After that, it was a game of remembering versus not remembering, forgetting things that are volatile. But I think that what really helped me was building that base. And so initially, most of my day was just watching the videos, and I also did do the Marrow QBank. So the modules that came along with the videos, I did do them. I tried to put a little bit of a gap between the QBank and the topic that I've studied, so that there's some sort of spaced repetition and I can remember it a little better.
Okay. So you told me that there was a huge difference between the first GT and the next GT. So when was your first GT and when was your second GT?
Uh, I think my first GT was maybe a few days into my preparation, where I had just started. I had started ENT, and that was my first subject. So I just gave it as a baseline because it's always good to know where you start. And after that, maybe my second GT was around August. So from May, I didn't give a GT till I had covered at least 3/4 of the main videos, and then around August is when I gave my second GT. I think August or September. And I think that was a huge jump. And that's when I knew that, it was worth doing the concepts and learning the basics in everything.
So that was around 4 to 5 months. In around 4 to 5 months, you could finish most of your videos. And did you make your own notes or did you follow the Marrow notes?
I made my own notes, and yeah, I think somebody suggested that it's always better to make your own notes for better retention of concepts, or you can reorganize them. You can write down what you might forget. So I think making your own notes is always a good idea.
I mean, that must have consumed a lot of time watching all the videos along with making your notes and finishing all of that in around 4 to 5 months. So tell me, how many hours did you study in a day?
I would just wake up and start studying, and then have lunch and start studying, and then I would have dinner. So I just had targets for each subject. So I would give, say, ENT. I thought, okay, I need to give it 4 to 5 days to finish watching everything, and the questions could come later. But my targets were more focused on watching the videos and learning, writing down the stuff that I wanted to learn. But I worked really hard all day. I was just studying. I wasn't doing anything else. And
So did you make the day's plan a day earlier, that the next day you have to finish this?
I think I'm such a planner. When NEET got postponed, right? Everybody was like, "It's okay, just plan the next month and then take it by the month." But I'm such a planner. I would have to know what I'm doing the last week before the exam and how I can make last week easy. And all my plans would be like backwards from the last few months, then the last. So I think I didn't really have exactly what I would do, at least initially when I was watching the videos. When revisions came around, I knew exactly what I wanted to finish, when I wanted to finish, and there was just no space to miss a day, to skip a day. Everything has to finish when it has to finish. And
would you actually stick to that plan, or were there days where you felt that there was a lot of backlog?
I think the key to a good plan is to anticipate backlogs. Backlogs happen, I think, when you think that you're good at a certain subject, and then you realize when you're learning it, you realize that you're not. So adequately understanding that if I'm bad at ophthalmology, then I should give it more time. So because all my plans were my plans would not look like a prototype plan. If somebody else made a plan, I would probably give more days to the subjects that I wasn't so good at. So because of that, I never really had too many backlogs, because I always made sure there was adequate time for me to really learn what I wanted to learn. At the end of the day, there's only so much time. So you have to pick your resources, and you have to make sure that you do whatever you do, you're doing it well, rather than going and looking for like
I think
multiple.
that is a very, very important thing, that your plan has to be realistic according to you, so that you are actually able to follow it. And the most of the confidence comes when you're able to follow your plan accordingly, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me, how did you revise? Because you finished everything in 4 to 5 months. How did you revise? What were the sources that you used for revision? Because you made your own notes. And did you watch the videos again? Did you do the MCQs in your revision? What was your revision like?
So I started my first revision sometime around December. So after INI-CET was done, that was when I was done with one run through of the subjects. And so initially my revision consisted of going through my notes, and I was mainly focused on making custom modules of previous year questions. So the recent NEET hashtag, and I actually did not. I wasn't planning really, and I wasn't focusing on AIMS. So I actually did not do many recent AIMS hashtag custom modules. I was focused on mastering the NEET concepts. And so I would revise a certain part from my notes, and then I would put those tags, put that topic from that subject, and make sure that all the PYQs have been covered. And I know, and I read extensively also under each question. Even if I got the question right, I think that whatever was written down there is more important than what the answer to the question really is. And that is what I love about the Marrow QBank. It has never been that I solved a question and I just skipped through the question, even if it was right, even if it was easy. It's a mini revision. Every time you read the explanation to a question, you are revisiting that concept. And I think that is how you stay in touch. So making custom modules of all the subjects every day. If I do 50 questions and I really read what is written and I really spend time on that topic, I have done 50 topics from all the subjects for that day. And I think that that's more important than solving more and more questions rather than the number of questions that you're solving. If you can make the quality of the few questions that you do good, then you don't need to do so many, because you will be revising that topic as you read the explanation, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, anything.
Yes, because there are certain topics which are repeatedly asked. So even if one question has been asked from that topic and you read the whole topic, you're revising so many questions which actually you're not doing. And when you did the videos, you had already done all the MCQs. And now during your revision, you were concising it to only your notes. And I think your notes also would have become quite bulky, right, to revise everything. So
yes,
how did you revise that?
I did the thing that nobody tells you to do. I made newer and newer, more concise, more revised versions of everything. But the thing that I did during my revisions was that revising now, it was a short part of my day. It wasn't taking as much as watching main videos, right? So I would take any resource that I could find, and I would just give it an hour or two in the day to watch it for not in a way that I want to learn it up, but as an additional source, because there'll always be a different way, a different approach to a question. So whatever I could get my hands on, I have watched everything except main videos of something else. I have supplemented this thing with everything else, because my notes had become so bulky by that time that I had to concise them. And so at that point, I think I have watched everything. Everything
So
that
you concise your notes further every time you revised, putting in what you felt at that moment was more important and maybe more important for you to revise further.
Yes.
And what was your strategy for revising the question bank? You told me that all the custom modules you used to make, and you might be making some mistakes there also where you wanted to revise further. So did you bookmark? Did you use that feature?
Actually, there are two things that I think everybody has been doing, which I didn't do. I didn't bookmark any questions for revision, and I didn't take like screenshots the way people take. I also didn't have a GT copy. Some people have a GT copy where they write down, and I just felt like, why create a source if you are not sure if you're going to be able to go through it? Because it often happens that people have thousands of bookmarked questions and they never get around to it. So to me, it was very important to stick to the bare bones of my resources. I had a few resources which I really had a lot of faith in, and I didn't want to add more work it's all the same content at the end of the day. So I had no bookmarks. For me, every question bank, every question I solved was just there for that moment, and I learned what I learned from it. And if it is truly a previous year topic, then I'm sure I'll see it again in another custom module. So I didn't really take away anything from the questions. It was just in the moment as a learning tool completely for me.
So I think custom modules are really of great help. They help you revise not only that subject, but also, hashtag, so many things you can put and you can combine that.
Yes.
So what was your rank in the latest GT that you gave? You started from 10,000, and just before INI-CET, you told me that you could not give the mock because you were focused more on NEET than on INI-CET.
Yes.
So, but in the last GT that you gave, what was your rank?
I think I gave GT 19, which was the last GT I was planning, and I still am planning to give the NEET mock. But in GT 19, I think my rank was in the 20s.
And did you use the GT graph analytics to see which subjects you're weak at, or like use it for your best?
I really liked the analytics, and it would show you there's an overall graph as well, and then there's per GT, because GT, the subjects can vary sometimes. It depends. Such few questions for small subjects, you can't really know for sure, but there's a main graph on the main page which shows you the GT. I think that was great to see my percentile rise over time. So I think that was very motivating for me. And also to know what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. And the reason, because medicine was not for me, I hadn't done medicine properly, but it was never in the bottom of my GT list, which is why I never figured that maybe I should give more time, watch main videos. It was just, I was on a time crunch, and NEET was going to be in March. So then I thought it's okay. I should focus on the ones that are actually at the bottom of my list.
Great. So now you are still focusing on NEET, and you told me that you will be giving NEET mock. So what will your revision in this last 1 month for NEET look like?
So I've made little documents for revising whatever I feel is the most important. And my plan was just to go through them and to make sure I do one good custom module every day, and to learn from it rather than, so to keep it interesting, because I think now it's gotten really, it's been dragged on a lot, I think, for people who thought that everything would get over by now. So to make it interesting, you can always play around with the custom module tags. So you can do just images if you want. You can do only criteria for exams like INI-CET. And I think the greatest thing really is to be able to create a custom module of your choice where you know where you are lacking. So my plan is to give NEET mock, do custom modules, and also revise my notes.
So I think you have used this feature of Marrow a lot, the custom module. Like
Yes.
Any other feature of Marrow, would you like to highlight which the students can use for the benefit?
I think the schema was really good. I think the only issue that I felt with the schema was that you can only access the full extent of the schema if you have solved every single question bank module. So the schema is a wonderful way to access the same topic over pan subject, where multiple subjects will be brought together under one heading. And Marrow always knows how to pick the subjects that are important and to pick the questions in the question bank that are important. And I think if somebody has to choose, I would say the custom modules with the right tags, especially if you're targeting NEET with recent NEET and clinical, I think are great tags to use. Schema was great to use. It was okay for me since I had already done all the modules. But I think that for somebody who is focusing only on custom modules and hasn't done the Marrow QBank, I think it could be, they won't be able to access all the questions. And apart from that, I loved the GTs. I think that the questions were really fun. And it was nice. It was nice to get things wrong, as people often do in Marrow GTs. And it was nice to get things right after you've learned them. So I think the schema is great. I think the magic module is coming up. There's a beta version of it. And I look forward to doing that as well. I think it's
so that is a compilation of whatever you have made a mistake. That is what is magic module, and I think all of the students should use it, because you will not have to bookmark what you have made incorrect. It will already be there. You are being watched. What mistakes you're making. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think you are a real inspiration for all our students because you have used this 1 year so carefully, with so much of dedication, with so much of consistency, making use of every bit of the resource that you had and every second of the time that you had to be where you are today. And I think you deserve every bit of it. So, which subject are you going to take now?
I am really interested in radiology and general medicine. So I think the
Great.
decision is, and we're open to anything.
Good, good. So, wish you a very bright and a beautiful future. And congratulations again from the entire Marrow team and from all our viewers. All
Thank
the
you.
best and God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.